In this video, I'm going to be going over how to set up a Redline graph on usemystats.com. The first thing we need to do is go to the More tab and go to our statistics, as we need to make sure that we have a daily stat set up for what we're setting up these Redline graph for. A Redline graph is a way to set up a target for the month and track it on a daily basis to make sure that we're meeting that target by the end of the month. And this is why we need to make sure we have a daily statistic ready. If you don't have a daily stat and you need to create one, please refer to the Use My Stats Basics video on how to create a new stat. Next, we're going to go into Enter Values and Single Stat Entry to set up the target. We'll need to select the daily stat that we created, and on the Show Up to Date, we need to make sure we're going to the end of the month that we're setting the target for. Next, we'll need to do a little bit of calculation. You'll need to make sure you're taking the total target and dividing it by the number of days worked for the month. So, you'll need to check your calendar first and count the number of days that your practice is open for the month that you're setting up the target. In this example, I'm going on the assumption that the practice is open from Monday through Friday and is closed on Thanksgiving Day. With that example, that gives us 21 days for the month of November. I've made an example target, a random number of 10,000 for the month of November. But your target will be something that's decided between you and your consultant. My job is just to make sure that you know how to set this up once you've determined what that target should be. So I'm going to take my 10,000 target and divide that by the 21 days worked for the month. What that gives me is 476.19. I'm just going to round to 476. I'm also going to take 10,000, which is the total, and subtract that from 476. The reason I'm doing this is because we are setting this up as an accumulating graph. And accumulating means to add together. So we don't want to use 10,000 plus 476, as that will give us more than the target that we're looking for. And you'll see what I mean in just a moment once we enter these in to Use My Stats. So now I have my first daily total of 476 and my last day's total of 9,524, which was that difference I just got here. So now back to usemystats.com on the single stat entry page. I'm going to go to November 1st, and under the new quota column, I'm going to enter in that first day's total of 476. Very important that you make sure this goes under the new quota column and not the new value column. On the last day, I'm going to enter in that difference of 9,524 and then hit Save. You'll see those numbers transpose over to the entered quota column. Now we can take a look at this on the graph by going to Graphing and Single Stat Graph. Under Group, I'm going to select All Daily Stats. And for my stat, I'm going to select the stat that I just entered in. For date range, we're going to look at the current month. And now we need to make sure we have quotas and accumulating selected. You can also have labels and notes. It's up to your preference on those, but we do need to make sure we have both quotas and accumulating for this to work. And now that I have my settings, I'll go ahead and hit Regraph Stat. So now you'll see I have this nice red line here with my 10,000 total at the top. And you'll see the black line that shows up with my entered values accumulated. And you can see I'm on track to meet my target at the end of the month based on this black line being above the red line. You'll see at the beginning of the month I was below this red line and needed to do something to make that up so that I could get above. And that's how you can just track in a very easy way a target and where you're at throughout the month. That way there's no guesswork involved and you know exactly whether or not you're going to meet that target or if you need to do something to give a little push so that you can meet that by the end of the month. I also recommend adding this graph to your dashboard. That way you can see it quickly and easily every time you log in. To do that, we'll just go to the dashboard, add graphs to dashboard, and select the line graph. You'll select your daily stat. Under show, you'll select current month, and now we'll select quotas and accumulating, and hit add. So you'll now see with just a quick glance, I can tell whether or not I am above or below my red line. And that is how you set up a red line graph.